As soon as you set foot in Malta, you'll instantly notice something unusual. This isn't just a country, it's a living museum floating in the middle of the sea, where every stone holds the imprint of ancient empires. Malta is a tiny island nation, but one of the most famous in the Mediterranean, located between Italy. It's one of the few natural red sand beaches in Europe historically considered a strategic transfer hub since forever. If you're looking for something quieter, though it's only 316 kilometers smaller than the city of Detroit, Malta packs one of the world's highest densities of heritage and history. In 2025, Malta's population is estimated to be around 497 people, about the size of a mid-sized American town. But here's the kicker: nearly 100% of the population speaks fluent English. Although the official language is Maltese, a mix of Arabic Italian and Old Latin English is used in schools, government, and pretty much every aspect of daily life. That's one big reason why Malta is often called the retirement paradise for Westerners. When it comes to climate, think of it as a mini California, but way more chill. With over 300 sunny days, a year winter temps hover between 55 degrees Celsius and 65 degrees Celsius, and summers range from 80 degrees Celsius to 95 degrees Celsius. One fascinating fact many don't know: the Maltese people aren't fully Arab or fully European. They're a one-of-a-kind mix of Arab, Southern European, and North African roots. This unique blend creates a Mediterranean lifestyle that's as warm as the Italians and as resilient as the Middle Easterners. And if you're craving something truly different, check out Popeye Village, a real-life village built just for filming the 1980 Popeye movie starring Robin Williams. And yes, it still stands today like a cartoon town come to life. Despite its small size, Malta is home to some of the most Mediterranean-spirited people you'll ever meet. They even have a signature word, mela, which means, We'll see, kind of like the Maltese version of we'll see, but it's actually a whole laid-back life philosophy. You can easily spot older Maltese men by their chunky gold rings, engraved with family crests passed down for generations as symbols of honor. And here's something fun: Maltese folks rarely use real names. They go by nicknames, sometimes silly, sometimes sweet. And if a Maltese girl gives you a special nickname, congrats. You might just be on her radar. This nickname tradition is something you won't find anywhere else in Europe. But maybe the biggest surprise for many American visitors: the women of Malta. Their beauty is a stunning mix of Arab, Southern European, and North African features, bold, sun-kissed, and as vibrant as the Mediterranean itself. With naturally olive-toned skin, thick dark, or deep brown wavy hair usually braided or tied up during festivals, and intelligent deep-set eyes that seem to hold something ancient. What's even more impressive, most Maltese women speak 3 to 4 languages: Maltese, English, Italian, and sometimes French or Arabic. That's a rare edge in life, travel, education, and, yep, even love. They're traditional in holding family values, yet strong and independent when it comes to speaking their minds. And let's not forget dating culture in Malta. It's a story on its own. Even in today's digital age, if you're serious, grandma still needs to approve, especially in the smaller towns. A first date isn't some fancy steak dinner or pricey wine. It's a cold glass of Kinney, a local orange soda, and a hot pastéis pastry on a balcony with a sea view. Simple, but charming. At traditional festivals, the most famous way to flirt: light a candle next to your crush, or quietly walk beside them in a saint's procession. If you want to know how to connect with a Maltese woman from afar, drop a comment with the number 8. I'll share the secret. This island nation isn't just known for ancient history, it's also a haven for clean, untouched beaches. And the special thing is, each beach here has its own personality. One of the most striking is Ramla Bay, up north on the island of Gozo. Its bright red sand looks like Arizona desert dust, yet it's soft as silk and changes shades throughout the day. In the morning it glows pale orange like a ripe tangerine. By noon it turns deep brick red, and at sunset it shimmers in golden orange under the Mediterranean sky. It's one of the few natural red sand beaches in Europe that still feels completely untouched. If you're looking for something quieter, Nejna Bay near the town of Magar is perfect. From the parking lot, the main beach is to the right, but head left and you'll find a rocky cliff leading to a narrow trail known by locals as the Locals' Path. It's peaceful, secluded, and often chosen by nature lovers as a clothing-optional spot. What's worth noting is that in Malta, personal freedom is respected to the point that as long as you're discreet, even the police won't interfere. And if you're feeling adventurous and don't mind a bit of terrain, head to Riviera Bay, locally called Gajan Tufieha, one of Malta's most breathtaking beaches. Nestled below steep hills, it takes over 200 stone steps to reach the crystal-clear emerald water. But if you keep going past the cliffs or explore behind the hills, you'll find private little corners where visitors can embrace nature in peace, privacy, and full connection with the land and sea. And hey, drop a 5 in the comments if one of Malta's beaches just made it onto your bucket list. By day, Valletta is a living museum. By night, it transforms into an open-air stage. As the sun sets behind the golden dome of St. John's Co-Cathedral, the city takes on a whole new mood, romantic and cinematic. The limestone streets glow under vintage yellow lanterns where locals and tourists slowly step out to join in on a national ritual called Il Passegata, the evening stroll. You'll see older couples walking hand in hand, young people dressed like they're headed to a party just to sip a cold kinnie in the square, and Maltese women with shiny dark hair and confident strides owning the streets like it's a runway. In Valletta, people watching is practically a cultural activity. Every glance and every bong hello feels like a real connection. Even traffic here is its own little universe. Malta drives on the left, like in the UK, but most cars are old Japanese imports with reversed steering wheels. Driving in Valletta becomes a skill of patience and mirror-reading intuition. The roads are narrow, sloped, and cobblestoned, but no one's in a rush. That's just part of Malta's identity. At night, Valletta isn't loud, but it's very much alive in its own way. Hidden among stone alleys are small bars like Bridge Bar, the most famous one for live jazz and wooden seating on the steps overlooking Grand Harbor. Every Friday night, the sound of saxophone echoes between ancient walls, a vibe you won't find in any other historic European town. Some cocktail bars here are set inside 16th-century stone cellars, serving local wine by candlelight. If Paris has Montmartre, Valletta has Straight Street, the island's legendary nightlife strip. And to truly understand Malta sometimes, all you need to do is look up. In Valletta, the smallest yet most well-preserved capital in Europe, you'll find a unique charm. Throughout Valletta and its coastal old towns, you'll spot thousands of traditional enclosed wooden balconies called galleria, looking like colorful boxes hanging off limestone walls. These aren't just places to catch the breeze or people watch. They're how the Maltese stay connected to the world while keeping their privacy. What's fascinating is that every galleria is painted a different color, from sea blue and wine red to terracotta yellow, turning Malta's old towns into vibrant patchwork paintings. For Americans, it might feel like the French Quarter in New Orleans, but more Mediterranean and without the loud jazz bands. Traveling further southeast on the main island, you'll reach the fishing village of Marsaxlokk, where you'll see Malta's iconic Ludzu boats painted in bright rainbow colors and always marked by a pair of eyes of Osiris on the bow. This tradition, dating back to Phoenician times, is meant to protect fishermen and bring good luck. Standing at the harbor in the morning, watching hundreds of Lutzus gently bobbing like they're smiling under the sun, it's easy to see why this place is one of Europe's most photogenic spots for international photographers. If you're someone who notices the little things, look at the door knockers of Malta's townhouses. Most are made of brass and shaped like a woman's hand holding a ball, a design that's both classic and a warm symbol of welcome. Some of these knockers are over 200 years old and still in use today, making a stroll through Valletta feel like a walk through a living museum. What caught your eye most? The hanging balconies, the eyed boats, or the hand-shaped knockers? Comment 2, 3, or 4 to share your thoughts. And if you think the Maltese only care about the sea, and old buildings take a Sunday morning stroll through the towns. You'll be surprised to see vintage cars from the last century still gliding smoothly down modern streets. Malta is one of the most classic car-loving countries in Europe, where a 1972 Fiat 500 is cherished, polished, and treated like a family heirloom. Here, a car isn't just transportation. It's a living memory, a four-wheeled friend passed down through 3 generations. On the island of Gozo, you'll spot hand-painted Mini Coopers, vintage Land Rovers rumbling along narrow stone roads, and 70-year-old men polishing engines like they're shining up a national treasure. One unique tradition: every year Malta hosts the Classic Car Show, a festival gathering the island's most beautiful vintage cars. Here, elderly gentlemen debate gearboxes, camshafts, and mufflers as if they were preaching the gospel. In Malta, cars have soul. Living in Malta means living in Europe, but with expenses that feel like the Pacific in the 90s. Life in Malta isn't just as pretty as a Mediterranean postcard, it's also one of the most affordable places to live in Europe, especially compared to the US or Northern Europe. You can rent a 1-bedroom apartment in the center of Valletta, Europe's smallest capital, for around $900, $100 month, or even less on Gozo, at $650, $800 Utilities, including electricity, water, gas, and high-speed internet, usually run about $120, $150 month, which isn't much, considering the warm climate means you rarely need heating. Dining out at a local restaurant costs about $12 to $15 per meal. If you cook at home, groceries will set you back around $50, $70 per week. Public buses are extremely popular and dirt cheap, just $2 per ride or $30 month with a travel card. A good gym costs around $40, $50 month. Even dental visits like cleanings or checkups usually cost just $30, $40. Overall, the average cost of living for one person in Malta is about $1,300, $1,600 month, around 30–40% less than cities like Miami or San Diego. Yet you still enjoy EU-level living standards, year-round sunshine, crystal-clear waters, and one of the most peaceful environments in the world. With these costs, would you choose to settle here? If yes, choose 1. If no, choose 0. Please share your answer in the comments. And if you're wondering why more and more foreigners, especially Americans, are moving to Malta, the answer lies in something less romantic, but very practical. Taxes here are surprisingly light, especially for foreigners. First thing to know, Malta doesn't tax your worldwide income unless you physically transfer that money into the country. So if you're living in Malta but earning from the US and don't bring that income into Malta, you owe 0 tax on it. This is a publicly stated government policy, and one big reason why more Americans are retiring or working remotely from Malta long-term. Here's another perk: Malta is the only EU country with no annual property tax. If you bought a $500 to $1,000 vacation home in Florida, you might pay $12,000, $15,000 a year just to keep it. In Malta, there's no such yearly property tax. You only pay a one-time stamp duty at purchase. This is a huge draw for retirees looking for financial peace of mind.